over it. Y'all know how we come in with the Shiders. All right, so check this out. Funk from the front seat, not on the Grind TV, right here exclusively. Today we have none other than the matriarch, Linda Shider is in the house. Actress, musician, producer, writer, activist, political commentator, as well as entrepreneur, as well as my funk sister. So we love having Linda on. We're gonna chop it up with some serious get down today. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee, will be beaming in a little bit later. But let's start where I believe Linda is out in the KC area. So we want y'all to push it up out there in the Midwest. Monsters of the Midwest, you know how we roll. Minneapolis, Detroit, how y'all doing? Up in Vegas, over in California. All on the East Coast, we got New York, we got Jersey, we got Delaware, we got Pennsylvania, funky Philadelphia, we got Georgia, North and South Carolina. We got Florida, we got Oklahoma, we got New Orleans, we got Texas. We got all our funkadelic people in the house. And let's go overseas to Dubai. Let's go to Hawaii, Samoans, doing a hump. Tokyo, Anyang Haseyo, China, Japan, Germany, Tanny Soul Sister, DJ Monica in Switzerland, DJ Cocolino in Ireland, and DJ Elisabetta in Italy, rather. Yo, thank you guys for always funking it up, playing our music over there. Keep the funk alive. Australia, we got Carmen and Wendy over there. I'm loving y'all. I got my new funketeer friend, Cindy K, way out there in Seattle. I'm loving that, and we keep the chat rolling. And today we're going to get into some serious things. We're going to get into a little bit about what's happening in this country that we can all feel that we need to really, really focus on. We got to get this one right. And Linda is here to drop some tidbits, some of her wisdom, and all that good stuff, right? But before we get started, I got to send a special shout out to one of my homegirls, one of my homies, my family, lost somebody very dear to them. So shout out Jen Vanderputten and your family. We know your husband, Tom, will rest in peace. And we want you to know, Funk from the Front Seat family, we care and we love you. We respect and appreciate you, man. So shout out to you and your family. We're going to keep you in our thoughts and prayers and send all of that good love and energy over to you guys, because we know you need it right now, and we got your back. So y'all sit tight, y'all hang out. Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. If you have any birthdays, and I know one of her son's birthdays is today, so happy birthday. And if you have any anniversaries or anything like that, just feel good about it, because it's a beautiful thing to be in that space. And if you have any illnesses or whatever, people just keep praying and keep doing that thing out there, But today we got a really cool show, because we're trying to get a step ahead of the political chaos that's getting ready to happen and hit this country that already has. We got crazy things to talk about. I value Linda's opinion. It's very, very important that we keep it real on this show. So if you want to get in and, get in on the chat line, feel free. If you want to, drop us a line at some other time and say, hey, why don't y'all talk about this or why don't y'all talk about that? That'd be cool too, because we can get into that. All right. So without further ado, I know my man Mark is proud of me because he's checking up on me, making sure I didn't blow the intro. I see you back there, Mark. I nailed this one. I wasn't on mute. Mark, you so slick. You so funny, bro. And I know you're going to laugh at this. He back there checking on me, Linda. You know what I'm saying? Making sure I didn't mess up his already amazing reputation. Right now, without further ado, I got Linda Shider in the house. How you doing, Linda?
I'm doing great, my dear. I'm doing fine.
Good. You looking good and everything?
Kansas City, trying to get a handle on this situation around here. It's new stuff, so everything is new and different, Yeah. You have to roll with the punches and check out the environment and go with the flow,
That's right. Hey, you've always been good at, like the Funketeer said, is, Boosie and Gary and George and them, and, making something out of nothing, You have a special gift like that. And of course, you're my friend. You're always there when I need a friend to talk to. And I really appreciate that, But first of all, for my audience that is relatively new, but not new to the funk, tell them a little bit about your funk background and how you came about into this crazy thing we call the funk world.
Well, I met George quite accidentally when I was hanging out in San Francisco with a friend of mine who used to date Bernie Worrell. I met them then, and we kept in touch. And the next time I really hung out with him was I was working for a production company rather in D.C. We had booked a show with Weather Report. They canceled at the last minute, and my boss was panicking. Linda, call somebody. You know people, call somebody. So I knew George, and they were in Philly. So I called them, and he said, "Yeah, we'll come and do the show." And that's the first time I met Gary. We hide and bide, and no, because I had a boyfriend at the time, so I wasn't really trying to date. But a couple of years went by, and I took one of my roommates over to Baltimore to a show they were doing because she was dealing with Rick Gardner, one of the Horny Horns.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen them for a couple of years because I had been into my world doing other things. And so I went over there the second time, saw everybody, hello, hello. And that's when Gary made his move. And we were together from then on, Yeah. Writing, it was kind of like one time I was playing the piano in the studio in United Sound in Detroit. They were recording, and George came by and heard me playing something. He said, "Linda, I like that. Do you mind if I record?" I'm like, "Heck no, of course." And that was the first song for the Parlettes, "Are You Dreaming?" That was
wow. Yeah.
Piece. Then as things went on, I did a couple more songs that they used. But Gary and I, we wrote and produced for years, ever since my group Legs in Atlanta. Yeah. We had a nice little thing going on. Couldn't get a deal for some reason. Yeah. And our song, one of our songs is on YouTube as a disc, a CD, a 33 1/3 rather, selling for $140 a copy. And we didn't have a deal with this particular company, but they're still selling our song. So, like I said, always in and around music for most of my life. I started off as a 3-year-old doing I'm a Little Teapot when my mom was trying to make me a Black Shirley Temple. I don't want to keep doing this, Mom. I want to learn how to play piano because the guy that went on ahead of me at the talent show played piano. And I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this. I want to play piano, Ma. So she got me piano lessons, and they have served me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome, man. When we look back on this funk, you're a pioneer, and kudos to you. And I'm honored to always have pioneers on my show, especially the women pioneers, because you ladies didn't get nearly.
We don't get any kind of credit. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame dissed us, and Grammys dissed us, but we contributed. Me just as not as a singer, but as a songwriter, a musician, and all the other girls who our vocals kind of like put this icing on the cake for all their songs. We got no love, and everybody's still kind of uncomfortable with that,
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I try to support it only because I just grew up. Like my generation, we grew up idolizing you guys because you were our Black superheroes, both men and women. And we knew where to find Parlette's album, the Bride's album. We knew where to hunt for all of that stuff that, everybody knew about Parliament Funkadelic and Bootsy and, those albums. But we knew where to look for Xavier. We knew where to look for the Horny Horns, Between Two Sheets. We knew where to look for all of that stuff because we had to import it in New York. We couldn't get it unless we went to Baltimore, Jersey, right? But we all used this company called Audiophile, and that's how we found all the hidden gems, what I call. But I say this with all honesty, I support what you guys are doing and trying to fight for only because we all know it's simply just the right thing to do. And I'll just leave it at that. But we all know because we're here to testify for you, to say, we hear your voices. We hear your writing. We still have the albums. We still have the posters. I still got VHS of you guys playing when you were with them touring. I still have that on my video. And I only watch it once in a while because I want to save the production value. But, I still have all that stuff. Everything I've ever collected from the mothership of mine, I still hold dearly. I have it in storage, insecure. It's locked up. Nobody can't get to it. So I'm here to say thank you. And for those that might have not treated you so well, I'm here to apologize for them because they lost sight of what the real thing is. The one.
Yes.
And you guys
I always say, not only did we make them sound better with our vocal blend, But we on stage, we made them look good too, because
we were
good looking and sexy.
Yeah.
And we brought it every night, you know.
Yeah.
Could not go out there and not bring it, because they wouldn't have it, you know.
Yeah. I didn't know you and Gary were married because until later, you know, I kept seeing Linda Shider. So I thought you was like his sister or something, you know. I was like, man, he got his whole family in there, right? I swear to God, for the longest time, I said, and then everybody was like, no, that's Linda Shider. That's his wife. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I was like,
well, you know, my first stuff was before we were married, and that was my maiden name, Linda Brown. And so some of my stuff has my maiden name on it. We got married in 1978. Okay. And that's when everything flipped into my, you know, using his last name.
Right. Wow. 1978. I know that was a huge year for y'all. I remember y'all had like around 8 albums out.
Yes. All kind of the Horny Horns, the Brides, Parlettes, Bootsy, Roger, everybody was.
Yeah. It was. That's when, to us, like I said, those are my teenage years. So again, I used to look at you beautiful people on stage, beautiful, you know, Afro-American people, Black people, you know, fighting for your rights, saying positive, inspirational stuff, playing really good, excellent funk rock music, and singing.
You know, they were like, to me, P-Funk was like the Black Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
To actually be able to be a part of that was awesome to me. You know, it was like an unbelievable dream, something I never would have thought would happen.
And we could see it. We could see it on stage. It came across to the audience that you guys were simply there having fun, you know. It just showed it, the music, everything. That's why we're still doing it today. This Naphead Funk Army shirt, did y'all see right there? It's called the Parliament Funkadelic, and people like Linda Shider. Okay, I wear the P proudly for the funk. This is what it is. This is the legacy. And I want you guys to know, especially, it's the age of Aquarius, the year of women, right? So I value what you have to say when we get ready to jump into this other stuff, because you're one of my go-tos, you know, and you keep your ear close to the political.
Yes, I do. I hate not being close to DC anymore, but I still try to keep in touch with what's going on down there.
Yeah.
And it's not a pretty picture on any level.
Yeah. When you were coming through the funk, you guys were always thinking politically with your lyrics.
Paint the White House Black was really like, you know, for Obama to actually become president, it was like George had a premonition that something like that would go down, you know?
Yeah. Even Chocolate City, you know?
Yes.
And then also, right, when like Funkadelic had put out Wake Up on America Eats Its Young, today exactly is what's happening.
Yes.
America's eating its young.
Can't be sleeping. These days are intense and crucial. Cannot be sleeping.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because music, as you know, and you were an actress as well. Hi, Cindy. Hi, sweetie. You got fans in Seattle. That's why she's been in ever since. So we love you out there, Seattle. Thank you for waking up early. We appreciate you. And she watches the show. She texts me.
9 or 10 on the West Coast.
Yeah.
That's really early bird. So much love, girlfriend.
That's right. And she texted me, and we had a little chat, and I really appreciate that because I'm going to invite her on, and we're going to talk, Cindy. So we'll get into it. But she's a sweet lady. So when you guys were into that moment of post-Vietnam, pre-Reaganomic era, and y'all, Gary and you, penned One Nation Under a Groove, the anthem, to me, right? What was your mindset when you guys were writing that song?
Well, like
shout out to Bernie Worrell, the Woo.
George had ideas that were kind of like very in tune to what was going on in the politically, and I think he was trying to unite all the funksters, all the non-funksters to like hear us and see what we were talking about and maybe relate to those things. And it kind of worked. People still talk about Paint the White House, Chocolate City, and One Nation. You know, they had real kind of like information for people to like think it's not illegal yet. One of our other things, you know, because if you're not paying attention to what's going on around you, you're going to fall for the okie doke.
Yep.
And that's never a good place to be, especially in the climate that we're living in now.
That's right. And see, And see, it was important to us to have something to grab onto as teenagers and young adults. Y'all gave us that. Y'all gave us hope. You gave us in such a way to where we could understand it. It's almost like it was our version of hip hop. Like you talk to a young person now, you got to speak to them in their lingo. But if you put on a hip hop record, they automatically hear it.
Yeah.
When we saw the album cover, we didn't even have to hear the song. We saw y'all plunging that R&B flag into the moon or the earth or whatever it was.
Yeah.
My friends and I flipped out because we were like, yes, somebody finally, James had said it, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And I'm biracial, so I'm not racist at all. I'm mixed myself. But when we saw that flag representing red, black, and green, R&B, rhythm, and blues, and y'all was like, boom. And then we heard, Groove Alicia's to the Funk. We heard One Nation. We heard what y'all was singing about. It changed our lives. And there isn't a Funketeer right now that can deny that.
And that's what we were going for. We were trying to make people listen and pay attention, Important stuff was going on all through that timeline, And like I said, at this point now, it's even more crucial than ever before.
That's
for
right.
people to listen and pay attention to what's going on around them.
Yeah. To show you the power of that song, right? Leon Spinks was training, and they showed a clip of him training, and he was pumping One Nation in the background. Swear to God, you can find it. Yes, swear to God. Look on YouTube. When Leon Spinks was fighting in that year, the boxer, he was training to one, and we was like, yes, he was. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Look that up.
What's funny? One of the movies I did, I was next to Nancy Allen. It was one of the RoboCops.
Yes.
And she's bouncing around. I said, "What are you listening to?" And she let me hear it. She was listening to James Brown's "Living to America."
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at her like, this white girl, oh my God, big time in the movie industry. And this is what you listen to pump you up for the action, for the scene she was about to do. It kind of freaked me out. I was like, people, we have no idea what our audience is or who they are,
That's right. But there's certain songs that came out where we all remember where we were, Like I could tell you when I heard Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. I could tell you where I was. I could tell you when Mothership Connection dropped. Smoking Panama Red with my friend Bobby Threadgill, rest his soul, and Nathan King, rest his soul. Smoking Panama Red in his bedroom upstairs with the fan in the window so his mother couldn't smell the smoke.
Of course.
When I heard that, I could tell you where I was when I heard One Nation, And again, those songs to us were better than any amount of money. Somebody could have gave us $5 million. We would have been like, no, we keeping this album. It was personal. It was personal. And like I said, there'd be no Nappy Funk Army if it wasn't for y'all, man. And I'm going to leave it at that because we got some other stuff to get into. We're hanging out with Linda Shider. You guys, please stay active on the chat line. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee, is hanging out somewhere, working hard, doing something. So I'm going to try to get all your chats in as well and get your comments in. My girl, Lisa Love in West Coast. You getting that West Coast love and that Seattle love. What's up, Lisa? Time for you to get back on soon, sweetheart. We'll get you talk about some more Skunk Mob stuff. But tell us some of the movies that you were in before we jump into this conversation.
Oh God, it was a lot. The first one I did was with Daniel Day-Lewis, his first American film. It was called oh God, it's been so long. It was about him coming to Atlanta to find this hidden painting that was worth a whole bunch of money, and nobody really knew it. It was like a bunch of rednecks that were kind of stashing it.
Right.
Heck, I can't think of the name of the film. I did RoboCop. I did a couple of In the Heat of the Night segments. I did
Did you do some on NBC?
Huh?
Did you do something on NBC, you said, TV?
Oh, yeah, a couple. Like I said, In the Heat of the Night, I think that was on NBC. I did 2 of those.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie was Stars and Bars. I finally thought about that. That was Daniel Day-Lewis's first American film.
Okay.
RoboCop. God, I did so many. It's kind of hard to think because it's been a while. one with Invictus, one called Invictus that had Peter Coyote as a star.
Yeah. That was good. That was really good.
Okay. Gosh, Zach, you put me on Front Street. I can't think of so there was so I did about 30, so it's kind of hard to
I know it was a lot. It was
a while ago. So
and see, none of us RoboCops, I was always down with the RoboCops. When I saw, I was like, that person looks familiar, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I was like,
Hulk Hogan. What was the Hulk Hogan movie? I can't think of the name of that one to save my life either. But I said I did a bunch.
Yeah,
I did a couple of plays. One that started in Atlanta, ended up in New York.
Yeah. See, people don't know, and we're not jumping around. We're just trying to give people a clear picture of you, but also a little bit about your work with Stokely and them boys back there and girls.
Oh yeah, Stokely came when I was at Tennessee State. Stokely came and did a very fiery speech one day, and it pumped me up so much. Me and another girl that was also very kind of politically oriented, we decided to tell all of our co-people, hey, this place is not cool. They're supporting South Africa, first of all, with some of the things they're investing in. And this is a black school insulting us like that. And we took it to the streets. We got on the street, which is Jefferson Avenue, which is the main drag in that area. On the street, there's all those students behind us. And all of a sudden, the cops started shooting at us. They're shooting us. I'm hoping that they were like rubber bullets because I ducked into a phone booth and ducked down. All the glass was shattering around me, and I'm thinking that if it must have been rubber bullets, or they would have killed me.
Wow!
And so after that, Stokely kind of saw what we were doing, and when he came to DC, sometimes we would sit down and he would be strategizing. Him and Cleve Sellers, Eldridge, and Catherine Cleaver. We'd be sitting at a round table discussing the next moves that they were going to make. Prison stuff, like with George, what was his name? George. He used to date Angela Davis. George Jackson. We were talking about them. So I went to San Francisco and kind of talked to some of those guys after the day on the green. I don't know if you remember that, but they all of a sudden they took all these prisoners out to the main yard, stripped them down, handcuffed them to the ground, and killed some of them. It was like, and one of the guys wrote a poem called "This Day on the Green." This was at San Quentin. So I was dealing with some of those guys. Some of them were trying to get some early release or get, their stuff kind of like lower sentences and all that kind of stuff, getting parole, which they just refused to do. So, I mean, it was like, and this was like when I was like really young, I was like in my early 20s. And It was really kind of important for me to just be involved in something important,
Yeah. Is it part of human nature for some of us to kind of just be a wait and see, and then some of us to be like, nah, I'm going to be on the front lines? Do you think that's just part of human nature?
Yes, it is. Some people are just born to be involved. Some people are born to kind of sit back and watch things happen. Yeah. You have to make your own decision about which of those camps you want to be into.
Yeah, I agree.
With me, it was always, I had to be involved in something. I was just, my energy, I just could not sit around and do nothing with all this stuff going on in the world.
Yeah,
Vietnam War, all that kind of stuff was going on when I was young.
So I agree.
Going on, and it was something I felt like I had to make a stand.
Yeah. You know what else I find too interesting is that some things just call you, and whether you want to do it or not, you put into it. And I believe that's the Creator, the Almighty, the one, whoever people want to say, or maybe they don't want to say anything, but the universe, I believe knows certain people are supposed to be in certain places doing certain things. For instance, when we needed hope in this country, we had Barack and his family come along right at the right time. They could have been white, they could have been Asian, they could have been Chinese, they could have been Mexican. It wasn't about their complexion. It was about who they were. They came along at the right time. Yeah, exactly. So I believe that was like divine intervention sometimes. So I'm praying for everybody out there right now. Remember, we're gonna need that again, something like that, because this next hour, we're going to dive deep into some things that Linda and I talk about privately on the phone, and we're going to share some with you, about where we are today and why it's important to stay active in your local politics. So let's start there,
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Why is
It
it
starts
important?
there.
Why is it important to be involved in at the local level as best that you can?
Especially in these times that we're living in at the present time, the Republicans have pretty much locked down all the local elections. The abortion thing in Arizona, Republicans, they have kind of most of the like flip states that could be flipped have been taken over by Republicans on the local level. And that's where it starts, because if they lock down on that era, then going any higher, Republican, you see what the Republicans are doing and their agenda or non-agenda, because they're really about nothing except extremism.
Yeah. Do you think all Republicans feel like that, or do you think some toe the party line?
I think that most do for whatever reason, and I think that there's a cult surrounding Trump and all his ideas and ideology, and they have locked into anything he says and does is fine with them. Yeah. And that's amazing to me, because some of the things that he says and some of the things he does are criminal, insane, Hitlerist. And I don't understand why this American culture is willing to swallow that.
Yes, I agree with you.
With it.
And the other night I made a list right after we talked, and I had, the A side and B side, the columns, right? And I was just going down my list, and I was thinking of everything that I, as a libertarian, have in common with anybody that's either Republican or Democrat, right? Because I'm neither, right? And I found out I have about 80% more things in common with everybody, rather than against. Like, for instance, we all want good schools. We all want, a nice place to stay. We all need food on our table, the basic needs of survival, some type of employment. We all need some type of community gathering, be it church, be it a park, be it karate classes, be it yoga, be it this, be it that. Most of us have a need to have all of this stuff. So if we have all these things in common, why are we, as red-blooded, smart human beings, allowing people that sit on the high up, don't have our interests, divide us? Dr. Brookenstein, what's up, bro? We should not be letting people who have no interest in us divide us because of race, color, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, or none of that. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, the housing and food and some of the things that are going on now, nobody is dealing with the extremity of those things. Housing is mostly overpriced. Food is overpriced. And we have our healthcare system is kind of broken.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have to have big money in order to get the top level care. Some of those things are just things that people have taken for granted because they have no alternative. Me, for example, I'm in Kansas City because I couldn't find a place in Maryland where I could afford to live. Yeah. With my income, there was no place available for me to live. Yeah. So here I am in a whole nother place, don't know a soul in this city, but it was like I had to go with the flow. I find that food, when hamburger got over $10 a pound, I thought that was kind of insane. Certain things like that are just like, these things could be fixed if the politicians went to the consumer people, the people that are making these things, and told them your prices are too high. You're Xing out most of the people in the world because they can't afford to eat, can't afford to find a decent place to live. Those kind of things can be dealt with, but nobody seems to care.
Yeah, you're right.
Those who could make the changes don't seem to want to do so.
That's right. And I'm speaking at Marching for Homes down here May 4th at a rally. Right, I'm not going to march because I'm ill. It's too far for me to walk, but I am going to speak at the rally. And we're trying to get CNN and all the local news stations down there, because exactly what you just said. We're all being gentrified out of places that were comfortable to us. Yes. I lived in my apartment for 7 years. I was so happy there, but they raised the rent on me, and I can't afford it. So
that's what happened to me in Maryland.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's not even income per se. It's the fact that the cost of living, we can't keep up with that. Like you said, a loaf of bread goes up.
Yeah.
For me, my job requires a car and gasoline. So I need gas. Now, some days I see it as like $2.89. Next time I see it, it's like $3.50, $3.60. They could do whatever they want and play with the economy. This is why so many people out here are angry. And politicians, y'all better listen up. You're not going to get our vote. You're just not going to get it. We'll be like, nah, locally, we'll vote you out. We may not be able to control the president, but we can control you, city council. We can control the mayor. We can control the council people and the senators in this state of North Carolina, as well as the people in KC. You know, I know y'all got a tenants union out there because I've been in touch with some of them, you know, because we're trying to form that here in North Carolina. And it's time for people to take a stand. I'm at that age now, 66. What are you going to do to me? Can't put me in prison? Whatever. You can't hurt me, can't shoot me, can't kill me. You know
and it's insane to me that those in power see all these things going down and have no alternatives. They don't want to fix it. You know, they'll go gung ho for the gas, the oil companies and people that are hitting them with money. You know, the lobbyists are giving them like free vacations to go around the world or whatever, like I said, use of a private jet. And here we are paying, like I said, paying $10 for a pound of hamburger. Can't afford a place to live. As a senior citizen, especially after putting in all my work, all my years, I can't find a decent place to live on my own. And those things can be fixed. They just don't choose to do so.
There was a stat, which was fairly accurate, I believe. Out of the 40, 50 billion we've been sending for wars, right? They said if you just took 2 billion of that, you could build affordable housing all across this country. It could be done. You're trying something like that here in North Carolina. They've taken a lot of the abandoned Holiday Inns and motels and trying to turn them into affordable housing for people. The problem is, right, it's political. Because if you notice, they're only doing this around election time this year. They could have been doing this, but every year, which leads us to something else. And
once they get in power, everything stays the same. Nothing changes. They talk a good game, but when they finally have the option to change things, they just go for the status quo. And whoever's hitting them with the most money.
That's right. Why do you think liberals and some liberals, not all, because I'm not grouping anybody. Again, these opinions are the opinions of Funk from the Front Seat, not on the Grind TV, not of StreamYard, not of Facebook, not of YouTube, not of TikTok or any other 26 platforms I'm on. Not those opinions. They are just ours, right? Why do you think that new school liberals are so far left? They have lost sight, because if Barack ran today, he'd basically be a conservative Republican. And then we're going to get to the Republicans in a minute. But why do you think, like, in my opinion, that segment of society, I call the new school Dems, why do you think they're over the top with so much bullshit that doesn't matter?
Well, one thing, there's the age thing, especially with Biden and Trump too. You know, the young people, they have a whole nother agenda. They have their own issues. They're upset about the Palestinians being dehumanized over the Middle East. They have issues with student loans. They have issues that the older generation has. You know, we have so many other things going on that maybe we've let their issues slip aside. And that's important that they stay involved too. I started getting involved with the world around me when I was in my 20s. You know, I think of the people, the young generation is so hip hop oriented. They're thinking about fast cars, diamond jewelry, a bunch of girls with their booties hanging out, and that's their agendas. You know, they don't have any political interests to speak of. Most, I'll say not all, but most. From what I see.
I know my one daughter is so happy. She's going to be 20 in May. This is her first real election. So she been talking about this for like 4 or 5 since she was young. I can't wait to vote because my kids, they were fortunate. They basically were born into the Barack era, so that's all they knew. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, we got a black president. It's normal for me, you know.
And look at what a fluke that was, because as soon as he was out of office, who comes in?
Yeah,
a whole 360 degrees with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
White people were like, whoa, we actually let a black man go into the White House. Can't let that happen again. They brought the most contrary person, the most abstract person that they could find, and put him in there.
And again, we're not saying everybody, because we're all brothers and sisters. We're just talking about the people that we know when we mention race. So don't get it twisted out there, because Linda and I have friends and family of all
of all nationalities. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not about that, because the funk ain't about race. It's about the funk. But we just say this is the facts, because I ask you this. Right. And then we're going to take a quick break so I can run some of these commercials and get back with you. But I ask you this, and then you think about it on the other side. Are we better off than we were 4 years ago? And I'll just leave it at that. I'll ask you that, because to me, my answer is simple. I would say, yes, we are, only because 4 years ago, I remember I was walking around in a mask, cooped up in my apartment like it was a jail cell.
That alone is
right. So for me, I can say, yeah, I was better off, you know,
and
now.
not putting bleach in our veins to get rid of it, and all the other things that were being brought up during that era, you know.
Exactly. I can honestly say, yeah, man, I'm much better off now than I was then, because I think back how the world, it was like a ghost town out there for you.
Yes. I became a TV addict because of that.
Anybody that can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Well, y'all hang out, Linda Shider. We get ready to dig deep on some serious stuff, man. And God bless y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all hang out for a sec, man. Sit back with us for a minute.
Hey, this is Jen Vanderputten, writer of Code and Prose. You are watching Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Roberson. Tune in every Saturday at noon for excellent and important conversation.
This is Joe Keys of Joe Keys and the Late Bloomer Band. Just did a show with my man Zach. Number 9. That's right. Number 9's got it going on. Check out Funk from the Front Seat. Zach Robinson. Serious good vibrations, y'all. What we need. Peace.
Hey, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here with Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time, and replays are posted for whenever you miss a live stream. You can find him on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube, and get ready for the funk, because he brings it every week, along with hot topics, amazing guests, and great conversations. Again, that's Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Go check them out.
What's up, Royal Funk fans? This is Lisa Love, aka Alpha Unk Omega, coming to you from Love's Temple here in Southern California, inviting you to 9 on the Grind, Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson. This is what I want you to do for me. Tune in every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come join the meeting of minds. I guarantee soul's growth and high vibrations, not to mention the love. Keep it funky, y'all.
Hey fam, what's goody good? What's really good? My name is Jeff Roberson from the gospel group called Jeff Roberson and New Life. And I'm coming to you from the town that we had to name it twice. It's so nice. New York. And I'm bringing you some news about my brother from another mother, Brother Zach, who's bringing you his hot new show called Funk from the Front Seat. Listen, he's bringing you funk from the vault, from the past, from the present, and into the future. He's got that music that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise up. He's bringing you funk all the way down to your toes. This is that funk that makes you really want to groove. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial as he brings you funk from the front seat. Listen, let's go.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast, and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
A few of the peeps that absolutely, keep me lifted. JTRP, P-Funk Radio, Gabe Gonzalez, Larry Funkster, Jones, Robin Circle of P, everybody in the Club Funketeer, Ambassador family and Club Funketeers around the world. Of course, Bootsy and Patty, love you guys. Brenda in Ohio, I hope you feel better. HJ Entertainment, Heidi and Kane and Jams, I love you. Tony Cam, Funk All-Stars, and the Funk All-Star Kids. We love doing that, and we're going to see y'all real soon. Nappy at Funk Army, Oak City Music Collective down here. Afterglow, 92416. Don, I love you. Otis, I love you guys. Q&A Entertainment. Brooke Clagett, I love you, my Funk Angel. Patricia Dioria, Aquarius Rising Art, Curtis Wilcox, and George the Funk Vinci. Thank you for always hooking me up with the dope artwork. You guys are the next ones taking that torch and running with it. And we appreciate you. Every artist that you guys do work for, trust me, we love it because you guys do everybody's stuff. So it's like a fun family. Dr. Brookenstein, my dog from way back, 98, been taking care of my website. Can't thank you enough, man. LL, Cindy, and James, and everybody else that's watching out there. David Webb, thank you for allowing the Napier Funk Army to give you memorabilia for the Funk Hall of Fame and Chronicles Exhibition Center, which we're going to be doing that in August this year. And everybody else that's watching, y'all go back and please, check this show out. So coming back on the other side with the amazing Linda Shider, her resume is a mile long and y'all know who she is and what she's about and her husband and her family. And are we better off now than we were 4 years ago with what we're dealing with?
Well, like I said, COVID is in the rear view, which is a blessing. I kind of don't like the idea that cars have gotten so extremely expensive and that Biden is talking about making all of them electric, but the prices are so enormous, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Like we've already talked about the housing issue, how this gentrification has places going for millions that used to be like maybe way less money involved with buying someplace to live or renting someplace to live. Food is more expensive, but on the other hand, the climate of the country seems to be, for those who are paying attention, it seems to be a little bit more mild. And then you have there's two extremes. There's the extreme left and right, and those who are in the middle are just coasting, trying to keep their head above water.
Yeah, that's all. Yep, that's all.
And that's most people. That's good.
Yeah. You know what we need to figure out how to do this, and I want everybody to listen to this very carefully. We need to figure out how to support our police officers, the men and women that are out there, and try to weed out the bad apples. But we cannot, and everybody knows this to be a fact. I don't care what color you are. You cannot say you want to go out and have complete chaos without understanding the mind of a police officer. Now, I've talked to quite a few about this. We lost your volume. We lost your volume. Yeah. I have a mic where they use their earphones, and I thought maybe if a Bluetooth battery had died, that would cause it, sometimes. But I believe she's just on her laptop mic. Yeah, it's something. Not again. Are you using your phone or the laptop? Okay. See if you can use your phone. Pull a link up on your phone.
Try the phone. Yeah.
Try the phone. That may work better. Turn off the laptop and try the phone.
I'm going to hang up the phone. I've got to hang up the phone. So I'm going to hang up the phone so she can use the phone.
Yeah. Do that.
I'm going to hang up the phone and then use the phone, Linda.
Yeah, try to use the phone.
Yeah.
I know the phone will work. I got faith in it. My audience, please, let's send Linda the positive vibes. I got faith in it. But Mark, while we're waiting on this to happen, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about women in politics as far as lifting up the country and leading us like we need to be led.
I think that women leadership is a wonderful thing. Like I told you before, my mom ran for Secretary of State here in North Carolina way back when, and definitely would have been a great Secretary of State. The woman that beat her has been Secretary of State for a number of years. I want to say close to 15 or 20, that being Elaine Marshall and everything. And definitely I was a fan of Hillary Clinton and others. So I think that women leadership is a wonderful thing. As a matter of fact, we just had some women that was from the queer part of society that were here yesterday. I was not here yesterday, but they were some great leaders like Desmarais Gatewood and Amasada Bernie Scott, who is a leader here in this area. And so there are a number of leaders that are of different kind of orientations, different politics, different a lot of things. So a lot of the organizations that I am aware of are actually woman run, and they actually do quite a good job of being woman run and all along those lines. So I would have no problem with a woman president. There have been a number of countries that have had women leaders, and they have done an effective job of leading the country, all in that space. So I think that it would be wonderful if we had some strong women leaders, and there are some strong women leaders throughout the country of the United States and throughout the world.
I believe that wholeheartedly. And I don't know why we're not taking advantage of that. Again, Mother Earth, to me, it's a natural progression. And I don't think there should be a question about someone getting equal pay for the same job.
I think Linda's going to try to come in on the phone, so I see her phone. So let's see if that works and everything. But
oh yeah, she's
the problem.
Am I back?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Thank you, audience, for hanging in there.
Oh my God.
It's okay. It's perfectly okay, because that's just it's technology. They can't stop us. So I'm going to go back to my original question with you, and thank you for hanging in there, audience, and thank you for the positive vibes. I had my audience sending you positive love so we could get this done. So thank you.
I appreciate it. It seemed like it worked.
I was going to ask you, women in politics. Where do you see that?
Oh, I find that women in politics, we have a more of objective kind of persona, whereas, like I said before, I got disconnected. We have men deciding what we can do with our bodies, which is really insane, especially since they're older men who are like way past childbearing age anyway, but they're deciding what childbearing women can or cannot do with their bodies. I think that's nuts. And I think a woman in politics is going to be more objective, because we're used to like having to do both, see things from both sides, A lot of us are single moms where we have to be mom and dad to our children. And those who have a partner are probably used to communicating and making decisions with both parties interacting, and women seem to be more positive, more receptive. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, so do I. I believe that when we, we were talking about local before we go national, because we still got to speak on Biden and Trump. But I believe that right now we're sitting at a crossroads. And by that, I mean young women that are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, that age group is going to really determine what happens going forward with our elections.
Of course. Yes. And as they should, because it's their legacy that we've left a legacy, but they have to move forward and come up with something that works for them.
Yeah.
Exactly. We can't decide for youngsters because we're not youngsters anymore. They have a whole nother agenda.
Yep.
So what's important to them might not seem important to us, but as the future grows and they grow with it, they're going to be the ones calling the shots.
Yep. That's right. That's why I tell all young people I meet now, I try to be a mentor. I say, listen, I'm 66. I done did my time in the front of the bus. I'm willing to sit back in the back seat now, support you guys, and watch y'all do your thing, And I try to, because we're gatekeepers, and we're at a point in our lives where our job as gatekeepers, everybody on this thread is a gatekeeper. Our job is to make sure young people keep their mindset going forward.
Uh-huh.
In reverse. You know, can you close your laptop?
Okay.
Thank you. Because that's what that is. Just turn off your laptop. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Yeah, so I agree with you. And I think that hopefully we'll see a woman president soon.
Yep. I mean, we saw a black one, so a woman is not too far fetched.
Yep. Now let me ask you something else, and I got to address this. Every day we see children unnecessarily getting hurt by the toy industry. This is a small thing that always slips through, right? And this toy industry, this particular one, LED, I ain't gonna say the real name, but those are the initials, right? They made this toy, and you was telling me about this, that is actually in a position to choke kids off. So tell us a little bit about why that's important and why you feel that way.
I keep seeing their ads on television, and the pieces that they're showing that are for infants and toddlers are small enough that they could be swallowed and choked. I can't understand why the FDA hasn't made some kind of comment or made some kind of changes to this particular company stuff, because like I said, the pieces that they're showing are for infants and toddlers, and they're small enough that they could be swallowed and be a choking problem. I don't understand what's going on with this company.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we let too many things now slip by.
Just like the FDA approving drugs where the side effects are more dangerous than what is supposed to be taken care of. You know, drugs causing cancer and causing kidney and liver failure. And there's something, and there's like for your skin, you know, for epidermals or something. Some of these things that go through the cracks are nuts to me, because like I said, the side effects are more dangerous than whatever they're supposed to be curing or fixing.
Yeah. You know, the medical industry has to keep customers. So the way you keep customers, like any good drug dealer, you keep them coming back. You know, you ever notice they give you a 30-day, 60-day supply? They ain't going to give you pills for a whole year because they want you to keep coming back, because they know eventually they're going to find some more shit wrong with you.
Something else, yes.
You know what I'm saying? The more you come back, by the end, you'll have 10 pages of stuff that they said is wrong with you. You know, and give you 10 different medications, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I'm from the organic school, if y'all know what I mean. So that's my medicine. That's why I'm alive today, yo, because of that.
I have a lot more of those kind of things in my medicine cabinet than I do prescription drugs.
Yep.
I'm more of the herbals. I would do that 90 times out of 100, because I can't see me taking a whole bunch of stuff that's going to possibly make me sicker or give me some other illness, you know?
Yep. That's right. I know when you know, we're putting up some of these comments, you know, it's like, keep them sick. You know, Dr. Brookenstein said that, and Georgia Funk, Linda, Lisa rather, said, you know, it's not about helping people, and she's right. You know, if it was, we wouldn't be in some of the positions we're in now. I worked in healthcare for 22 years, so I know, man. And Dr. Brooks had a funny one, because he said, Chris Rock said that the money is in the medicine. It's in that comeback, you know.
Yeah,
the
that's
almighty
why all
dollar.
the doctors are driving Jaguars and have memberships to the golf clubs, and you know, they can live in $2 or $3 million homes that we can't afford because they have a repeat clientele. Just like a drug dealer, like you said.
Yep. And see, this is just one of the illnesses that people in the light, like you, like everyone on this thread so graciously is speaking about. How do we let other people know and wake them up, because they're vibrating at a different level, right? This is our issue right now. We're charged by the universe to wake people up. Now, whether they follow or not, it's on them. But they can't say they don't know this information. You know what I mean? And we have so many news outlets, CNN, Fox, BBC, all of them, believe me, have an agenda.
Of course.
We have to filter out the bullshit. What do you think about our presidential elections becoming such a a shameful mockery nowadays.
Look at the candidates. I mean, like I said, one especially has so much baggage that it's insane to me that he is a front runner. You know, Biden with his age and his missteps sometimes, but at least I find him to be have some character. You know, between the two, I prefer him because, like I said, he has character. You can see that he's really trying and being beat down by the Republican Congress for anything that he's trying to do. They're like, nope, ain't doing it. Trump said no. We ain't doing this.
Yeah.
That's what politics has become these days.
And it's a shame because in my opinion, we should not have any politician or any Supreme Court justice be able to sit and be in positions for long periods of time and retire there. Because some of these people, like you said, came in during the 60s. So there's no way in the world that they're going to be able to understand somebody that's 18, 19, 20, 30 years old when they were born like in the 40s. It just ain't going to make, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like we need to really get our young people's voices more involved, because if one thing that young people have right now, it's the will. And we need to, as gatekeepers, show them the way. There are so many people out here now that really want to live in the country, that really want to do well in school, and they don't have these opportunities, especially people in minority areas. So we can't have them give up on life this early on.
I have an issue with the young folks because of one thing that has taken over their existence, where they're not doing physical exercise or really like looking at agendas or issues that could be affecting them. The electronics, spending all day long on Nintendo, playing video games or texting on their phones, where they're not exercising, which eventually is going to have health issues. I think coming down the line, I see this coming for the young people for sure.
Me too.
Because I see it. I have two young children in this house who cry when they're asked to go outside because they'd rather stay on the computers and play video games.
Yeah.
They actually cry when they're asked to go outside and get some physical exercise going on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of pretty much the teens, tweens, and maybe the young 20s, the 20s people. That's their agendas now, you know?
Yeah.
How high they can score on a video game.
Yeah. I think, and it's actually in the Olympics now. There's a sport, you know.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm serious. Some people have capitalized on it, because I had a guy on my show, Jatovy McDuffie, and he runs a team, and they've turned it into monetizing and everything else. But like you said, they have kind of lost track of Mother Nature. You know, I think every young person should go work on a farm for a while, you know, be out in the field for a while, see what it's like to cut the grass. You don't see that anymore. You know, when I was growing up, I had to do yard work. You know what I'm saying? It was no getting around it. The rake, the mower, you know, trimming hedges by hand, thing. You know, it was like physical, but we were allowed to go outside and play, you know?
I remember we used to cry when we were told we had to come in the house. Now they're crying because they're told to go outside.
Exactly.
360, you know?
Exactly. And I tell people all the time, this is just a tool. Use it as that. Don't let the computer use you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let it become like your religion or your God or whatever it is, you know, that's all that you're about.
Yep. Dr. Brookenstein said, get them off Facebook, get them off YouTube, StreamYard. Oops, sorry. He said, but we know what you mean, Dr. Brookenstein.
TikTok, Instagram.
That's right.
Watching somebody else do physical exercise. That's what's going on, you know,
TikTok,
as opposed to doing it yourself.
Exactly. George Funkavinci said we need a president that's about 40 years old, somewhere in that range. Yeah, man. Because it's crazy. Because believe it or not, we're talking about this now. You guys are going to go back and watch this show and be like, yo, we were part of something special, because we're getting the jump on it. That's why I wanted to do my political stuff this month, because we know what's going to happen. We see it coming, right? And we're all going to be forced to pick a person.
I can see. I wish Hakeem Jeffries would run. I would vote for him.
Who is he?
Like his vibe, he reminds me of Obama.
Who is he though?
He's like the second in command in the House of Representatives. Hakeem Jeffries. I think he's from New York, I believe. He's representative from New York, and he's like the second guy underneath Johnson, the new guy that they put in charge.
Right.
And he was almost voted in as the speaker. Got very close, but of course the Republicans didn't let him do it, but he got very close. He has that same kind of personality that reminds me so much of Obama.
Do you think that because the party that this lady is trying to oust the guy, this and that, in the Senate and all, right? Do you believe that they're going to self-destruct if we just stay out of their way?
I think they're already in the process of doing so from what I see. Yeah. They have gone so far out of the norm that everybody's scratching their heads like, what in the world is going on with these people? What are they thinking? Or are they thinking at all? Are they just swallowing the Kool-Aid and joining the cult?
Yeah.
Because that's starting to look like a cult.
Yeah, that's the scary part, because when we think, okay, you, me, and everybody on this thread has grown up with every kind of president. It doesn't matter who they were. We, our parents voted, and then, we got of age and we could vote, right? So everybody, we've lived through them all. It's not like, oh, this is something new. So we're going to survive this. But we need to, I like what Hillary said, when she said, pay attention. That's right. You're right. And thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Man, shout out to everybody on the thread today, because it's popping, man, and y'all make this show. We do this for you guys. This is why we do these.
But don't you see that another Trump presidency with Republicans being so cultish could actually go to the point where he could become a dictator and be president until he died or something? They actually could do that if they have a mind to. And I think they are so sucked into his orbit that could be enough. He decides he doesn't want to give it away after 4 more years. He wants to stay there until he's old and gray or dead, and then have one of his kids take it, like most of the oligarchs or those people, like the guy in Turkey and the guy in not Ukraine. Oh shit, Hungary.
Oh, right, exactly.
Turkey.
Exactly.
And like when Hitler was in power in Germany, that's where he's going. Yeah. And I think the Republicans are so sucked into his, like I said, his orbit, that if he decided he didn't want to leave after 4 years, they would say, okay, what do you want? I want to be here until I'm old and gray, or I decide to give it to one of my kids. Yep. Yes, sir. Whatever you want, we'll do it. Whatever. I see that. I see that as a possibility, and that's scary.
I believe that wholeheartedly, that we're in the last days and time now, but for different reasons. But I believe wholeheartedly, if we allow not him, but anybody with the mindset that wants full power and control, be they Republican or Democrat, I believe we would definitely be seeing the last days and time, because we can't trust people that have nuclear weapons at their disposal. I don't care what country. And
there's a whole bunch of countries that have nukes, and that's scary in itself.
That's right. I watched that crazy movie Oppenheimer. Excellent movie.
Yeah.
I took a long time because I didn't really want to see it, but I finally watched it. And even though it was a movie, the gist of it scared me to death. That we got people in this country with that mindset that they can make weapons, and they don't want it to be for war, but that's what they end up being, And we got somebody that says, well, I'm going to grab this and do that, and I'm going to do all these things, and I don't care about the charges, and I'm going to court on Monday, but I may show up, I may not, right? This guy would have access to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
And sharing it with anybody that gave him $5.
The highest bidder. Highest bidder, man. George Carlin once said, "We've been sold out a long time ago." One of my favorite comedians. He said, "We was never in the club, and we never will be in the club, man." You know, and again, this show right here, we're having a lot of fun and talking about things, and everybody giving their great opinions. You know, and we appreciate that. But I think
my
when
dear
we
friend Gil Scott Heron with "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised."
That's right.
And that was he was speaking on that in the 70s.
Yeah, he was. That's right. And so were the last poets. You know, they were saying some serious stuff. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we look at the possibility of Michelle Obama, what do you think about that if she ran?
I don't think that she has the backing to make that happen.
Right.
I really don't. You know, people love her, but they see her as the first lady. They don't see her as a candidate for the seat.
Right.
And I don't see Kamala Harris actually moving into that role either.
Yeah, that's weird. Her time there has been weird.
Mm-hmm.
She comes down here a lot.
She was invisible for most of these 4 years.
Yeah. She's always down south here in North Carolina doing something. Mark will tell you. He'll tell me, "Hey, you know, your girl was in town." I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "Oh, you know, Carmela." I was like, "Really? Where was she at?" You know? I was like, "We didn't hear nothing about it." She shows up at these really small places.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why. Nobody knows. You know? It's crazy, man. I have a couple more that I wanted to kick with you while we got time. You got a few more minutes to hang with us?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Thank you for hanging out with the amazing Linda Shider today. It seems that we have lost common sense, right? Because common sense would dictate we can't take kids at our border and throw them in the cages, right? Common sense would dictate we can't assume that because you're a certain status that your mental health is at the same level as someone else's. So we're not going to sell you an assault weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about this. We have children that are being held in those cages, and once they are finally released, if they are, they're prime candidates for gangs. You know, all the things that Trump is espousing and scaring people with, you're making these kids angry enough that when they do get out, they'd be prime candidates for a gang, you know?
Yeah.
They're angry. Yeah. They come out angry because of how they're being treated. So what's the first thing they do? That they're going to be prime candidates for gangs.
Yeah.
To take that anger out that they have harvested and take it out on everybody else.
Yeah, you're right. Do you think because it's getting close to election time now, the border is going to be a hot topic like the abortion is the hot topic?
They both are. And once again, the Republicans have made sure that no changes are going to be done until the next presidency. They've made sure that that's not going to be taken care of for their own reasons, for Trump reasons, basically, because he said, "Don't let them do that because that's a good thing for me to run on." And everybody, "Yes, sir, whatever you say, we're going to do that. We're not going to change the border issue. We're not going to vote for it."
Yeah. It's sad, man. It's become this game that we all got to unfortunately be part of and watch. Mm-hmm. Some of us don't even want to play. Yeah. I never wanted to spend $1.
They're blaming it on Biden, but the issue is Congress will not pass any bill that makes any sense.
Yeah. That's right.
You can't blame him for trying it, but you can damn sure blame them for not doing anything.
Yeah, we got some great comments. George DeFuncavinci Hudson said, "I think that Michelle Obama would win the presidency if she jumped into it." So that's a good comment right there. And also 45 wants to bring back slavery, but he can't because civil war would definitely happen. I'm with you, George, and I know you got the weapons down there, so believe me, I'll be on my way to Texas.
Have you seen that movie coming out about the Civil War?
I heard about it.
I think that's really bad timing for that movie to come out with the state of the country.
So do I. And everything that happens in the movie, they're giving us a preempt to it.
Exactly. Or giving somebody some kind of incentive.
Yep, that's right.
I saw the previews and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
This would be the worst time for you to put a movie like that with the country so polarized.
Yeah.
And people already talking about Texas, talking about seceding from the Union and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how we let corporations and billionaires have taken over the country. And Eisenhower warned of this when he said, beware the military corporation complex. And I'm paraphrasing. He spoke about this. And I remember that speech because my father told me something like that in the 60s. And he showed me what Eisenhower had wrote. And I did a book report on him as one of the generals that became president, right? And he was hip to this because there was things that they weren't letting him be privy to. And he's like, yo, but I'm the president of the United States. How you gonna keep me out of this? And see, we have allowed corporations to do that. And that's crazy. And George is right. We don't hear about the border situation until election time.
I think they call it the industrial war complex, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's right. That's right. The industrial war complex. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. So history teaches us that we're getting ready to see a shift, a change. The age of Aquarius is here. Women are pushing their way into power.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting ready to get involved in all these wars again, just like we did in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. But we got crazy people with nuclear weapons, including ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got Congress sitting down talking about UAPs and UFOs and having a full session on it. Now we have an enemy in outer space. They got to always give us another enemy to fight.
Always.
That's what we do. Always, you know. So we're going to put a bow on this. And Linda, I'm going to give you the full screen for a minute and take your time. We want to thank you for being one of the true funk soldiers. Thank you for always giving us your insight. And we appreciate everything you do. We love you. And I didn't get a chance to talk about your book, but we'll get to that next time, your comic book, because I had pictures of that as well. And I posted one on Facebook, the one that you and I took at the ball. And thank you for that, man. And George is funny. He said, we live in a tricky world. Trick or treat.
More tricks than treats.
You always said something funny. That's true, though.
Tricks than treats these days, unfortunately.
That's true, man. They knock at your door. You don't know what you're going to get.
Exactly. You might have a 45 in your face. You never know.
Exactly. But you being a funk pioneer, I got one more question for you. I wouldn't say funk is on life support, but I would say it's in the hospital. There are only a few people trying to keep it alive. Yeah. What can we do as Funketeers to keep it alive?
Well, like I said, going back, going historically, listening to the stuff that was put out there. And there's a few people doing some funky stuff now that might not be getting enough attention. One of my, I worked with a girl in New York named Kalani Jeffries. She has a group she calls United Funk Organization.
Oh, yeah, I know her. Yeah, I know her.
She has last time I looked, she had 70,000 views on YouTube from one of her shows. She's trying to revive it.
Yeah. I asked her to come on the show.
Good job. I really miss working with her because her brand is really tight, almost like P-Funk on 2.0, that kind of thing.
Yeah, she told me she's going to come on. I've been in touch with her back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like her. Tulane Jeffries. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, she used to come on.
I miss working and writing with her because, like I said, now being so far away from New York, it's really out of the realm of possibility. But when we were working together, it was really great to be doing something funky and not be funky, but also doing the same kind of stuff,
Yeah. I know we're trying to keep it alive down here in North Carolina. We're doing our part to do it,
Yeah, you guys and Tony, Cam, you guys are still, doing it.
We're trying.
New music goes, new music, new funk music. Somebody's got to come along and go for it. It's wide open now. Somebody needs to step up.
Yeah.
Take all.
Well, it's nice to hear that from an
OG. Our
history
and put it into a new phase.
That's right. It's nice to hear from an OG to tell us that because it gives us incentive. That means that you actually pay attention to what we're doing.
Of course.
That's dope. That's dope. And that means a lot because, like I said, you're a funk legend. You're a hero. You're on the Mount Rushmore of what was there. You're standing next to Gary Shider. It's like, yo, it don't get no better. This is why I love having you on. Besides being my sister, it's like I get to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I get to see your face and
it's
feel
always
your
a
love.
pleasure, my dog.
Yeah,
Always
man.
a pleasure.
Yeah. Lisa Love, much shout out, Dr. Brookstown, the Funk Vinci, James, and Cindy, and everybody else that was watching today, man. It's been dope. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee, do you have your one question ready, sir? Or no? Unmute.
I've always got a question for Linda. I was
Somebody's
loving
playing
what
with the
y'all were
mute
saying
button
and
on us
everything along
today.
those lines. Amazing conversation, and y'all always doing a great job and all in that space. But I was actually going to go to something you said earlier and everything, and just kind of like bring it full circle and all in that space. So my question to you, Linda, is what can we do to get out of this patriarchal kind of system? Because it does seem like that's where we're stuck at. Is we're stuck very much on the patriarchal system, not just in the presidential and politics, but in the arts and a number of other things where we're not given enough respect to women-controlled organizations. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
That's the answer to your question right there. Give women more power and give them more prestige and more openings to thrive, because we are all that. We're mothers, we're parents, we're artists, we're musicians, we're politicians, we're corporate executives, and the glass ceiling needs to be cracked.
Yeah.
In all those phases. Enough of this. Women are still getting like the second-class citizen issue. We're still dealing with that. And we're excelling in so many levels, but still not on the equal footing of men.
Yeah.
And maybe we never will be, but we should be closer than we are.
I agree with you on that and everything. Just really quickly, if I can, I just had one follow-up question that's somewhat related, but not totally, because me and Zach were talking yesterday, and I know that this certain athlete passed away and everything along those lines. I actually think that was a referendum on the police state and all along those lines, because no matter what we think of whether OJ was guilty or not, I think the trial actually brought to a lot of attention what was going on with police injustice. But I was just wondering your take on that, because I think that trial some 30 years ago really brought things to light.
It certainly did. As long as so is Rodney King, the poor brother in New York that got shot with 40 some bullets just trying to go into his apartment complex years ago. What happened with, I think what'd you say, in Minneapolis, Zach?
Yeah.
Where the guy got shot that they had already arrested.
I think it was Chicago.
Killed him. Oh, Chicago. I mean, like I said, that stuff is still happening. Maybe it doesn't get the attention that certain things did. I mean, me personally, I think that OJ did it, but he had such great lawyers, they got him off. I always felt like he did that. Yeah. But like I said, the justice system works much better when you have money than it does when you're just an average Joe.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. That's right. Cindy made a very nice comment that I wanted to get to, and I didn't forget. I was just trying to figure out a way where we could get this in, Cindy. And thank you for watching. That's my girl up in Seattle. So we love you over there, way over there. It's the top 1% who are controlling the purse strings of the world.
Yes.
We, as citizens, can change this by boycotting, buy local, don't overpay for a brand name. Better clothes and jewelry are always made by local artists. And of course, that goes to music too. And she said, vote. So here we are together, all talking about the same thing, right? And we all have the same thing and our same goal. George the Funky followed up, the Funkavinci followed up and said, yeah, it's like, this is what we need to do. So when we think about what you said, Linda, about, having young people take the reins and change the country and change the world. That's what we need. And I'm going to give you the full screen. Thank you for that, Mark. Thank you, everybody watching. It's almost 2:00. So we've had a wonderful show. We did not let Illuminati, Sir Nose, the cabal, the government, nobody shuts us down. We don't roll like that. So y'all hear that next time. You can't stop the funk. Because as P-Funk says, the funk will survive just like it always does.
That reminds me of a time we were in Europe and one of the bus drivers was so dizzy he never could find the venues we were going to. And one place in Germany, we ended up with 9 people and no instruments. And we pretty much ad-libbed our way through the show until the rest of the group finally got there where we started over. but we realized we don't need all this intensity. We're fine just with the vibe that we had with me, Clip, George, Gary. Who else was there? It was like, I think it was like maybe 9 of us. I can't remember the rest of the people. I just remember and Clip was playing drums with spoons. And I'm handing him the spoons and singing at the same time. And of course, he's sweating, so the spoon would slip. I have to give him another one. Then it got to the point where I didn't have any more. And about that time, the rest of the group got there and we started the show all over again. Funk is its own reward.
I got to tell you something real fast. When I was hanging with Clip in New York, he told me the spoon story. I had just never heard the end. He said, yo, there was a time when I played drums with spoons. And I was like, get the fuck. And he's like, no, bro. I'm telling you. He said, I played drums with spoons before the band got there. He told me that story in 1998. Wow, that puts a cap on it. Because I never knew the story, the whole thing. I knew he was there. He told me. So shout out to Clip. I remembered that. I said, bro. So I asked him, I said, did you use the spoon head or did you flip it around? And he said, no, he used the spoon head. I was like, yeah.
Yep. And like I said, he was sweating so much that they would slip and go sliding across the stage. And I have to give him another one till I finally got to the point where I don't have any more. But it was just around that time when I ran out of spoons that the rest of the band came in. And we started all over.
That's a dope story.
We called ourselves the Mighty Nine for years. We were the Mighty Nine because we handled that stuff with no mics, no equipment, just pretty much raw talent.
Wow. See, that's one for the book right there. And yes, Dr. Brookenstein, I'll have to buy Mark lunch because he got Linda back on, which is great. Although it was my idea, but I'll give Mark the credit. We've had a great time hanging, man, and thank you for these wonderful stories, the insight. George said it best, and he said, well, I'm gonna show this because he said, I think that women really run the world, which he's right, and we'd be messed up if there were no women around. And I agree with him wholeheartedly because, without women around, man, it wouldn't be no fun on this planet,
And that saying, behind every successful man is a woman pushing him into the front row,
That's right.
And I'm going to give you. Sometimes maybe we need to get pushed ourselves,
That's right.
Push us out there like we push you guys.
Yeah, and everybody on the thread loves you. George said he loves you, Lisa. And everybody that's on the thread today, this woman is important in our lives. And we need to do everything we can to make sure she gets lifted up and give her flowers now, daily. You can check her out. Check her on Facebook. She's got new music coming out. And just go and support and check out, the comic book. And I'm going to give you full screen, and then we get ready to get out of here, all right?
Okay. Yeah, the comic stream was like a labor of love for my husband, Gary. Because like I said, when he was flying on that metal thing, flying through the air with the bop gun, my heart was in my mouth every night that he did it. And I felt like he was a superhero that never got the props for doing that. It took a lot of courage and like I said, steel balls to be popping up there hundreds of feet in the air on that little thin wire. And that's where the comic book came from. My way of paying him homage. Much love to all you funksters all across the world. Much love always. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Peace and love.
Thank you, Linda. That's amazing. And yes, I too was thinking to myself, man, I just Gary don't fall.
Yeah, just imagine.
All the Funketeers, here you go. I need you to bounce. Bounce like this.
Okay, my love, I'm out.
Y'all know about that P? Let's take it with the P, y'all. Texas been hot today. Seattle was hot today. California was hot. Philadelphia was hot. Our guest today was Linda Shider. I told you, it's always great when we get people to come on and do their thing. Night of the Thumpasaurus, Dr. Brookenstein. This is for you, son. Shout out. New York City, Long Island, Bayshore, my hometown. Queens, Staten Island. And if you're in the 919, Nappy Funk Army, April 26th at the Poorhouse. Then the following week, May 3rd, at the Mad Crazy Shakori Hills Festival, we'll be headlining there, 5 p.m. Philadelphia, shout out to my dog Gabe. Shout out to Minneapolis. All the people up there in the Detroit 3-1 mile mark. Vanessa Bartholomew, I love you, sweetie. Crank it up. Africa. Dubai. Egypt. Japan. Y'all getting funky over there in Switzerland, Ireland, Scotland, Italy. All around the world for the fun. Shout out to Bernie Worrell. This is for my girl Cindy. We will miss you, Tom. We love you. Shout out to my girl Jen Vanderputten and her. I'm ready for my day now. And don't forget, men, get checked for your prostate cancer, all right? Funk from the seat, 9 on the grind TV. You funking back there, Mark? Are you getting funked up? I got the Guga. I got the Guga. Got the Guga. The only funketeers know that language. It's been a beautiful ride today. Woo! 2 hours goes by like that. Don't forget, next week we're coming back live with another special guest. We love y'all. Thank you. Appreciate you. Mark, let's go home, bro. I got you on lunch today, all right? I'm assuming you want like Burger King or some poison crap. I know. Wendy's, cheeseburger, fries. I got you, bro. I got you. Nothing but the P, y'all. Shout out to Bootsy Collins and his new artist on Bootzilla Records. Shout out to Patty. Love y'all. Got to get y'all on soon again. And next month, yo, 4 years anniversary. So y'all send me some shout outs. All right? Everybody on the thread, man, send me a shout out. May 4th is our anniversary. I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.